onto another recording. This video I'll be focusing on setting up any asset class, whichever may be. Let's just pick let's pick Bitcoin for example. Now, blank chart, settings, change this to UTC London, settings, more settings, go over here, symbol, black candles, wicks blue, status line, canvas, solid white, you get the gist. Cool. Now, how, when you come over here, by the way, I've already got these marked out, sessions over here. You want to go over here on the left hand side toolbar, vertical line, mark your sessions. Okay, settings, style, black, thickness, very thin, line, style, dotted. Okay, so that we can see, the reason being we can see the wicks, the overlap, the handover. Okay, timings will be 12, 8, 1400. Okay, Asia 12 to 8, London 8 to 14, and New York. There you go. Okay, now when you're looking at the market like this, what do you see? There's no story here. There's no narrative. You can't read what's really happening apart from whatever thoughts you may have in your mind that are circulating. What you want to do is you want to be able to read the session intent. Okay, so what I've done is, let's go back to BTC. Just gonna keep an eye on code as well. So what I've done is I've marked Asia as blue. It's up to you. You can use whichever color you prefer. I'm gonna mark Asia. Current session is London. You want to keep the current session just in line to your nose. Okay, parallel to your nose. You want to keep in the middle. Previous session sits over here. The high. Get used to crosshair. Go to the settings, more settings. Change the settings for the crosshair, which should be a crosshair over here. Thickness, thin, line, and then whichever color you prefer. Line the crosshair up to previous session's high over here. Yep. Use the highlighter tool. Go onto the left hand side. Grab the highlighter tool. Very important. I'm gonna keep the tools that I use very selective. We're only using the highlighter tool, the vertical line to mark the sessions, the price range to calculate previous sessions range from the high to the low. Once you get used to calculating from 80 to 81, 1000 pip, you don't have to use the price range. But in the meantime, start using the price range, and then once you improve reading session pip ranges by using the axis, it becomes easier. Dot to obviously come back from the highlighter tool to the crosshair. Okay, where is it? So yeah, mark the previous session high. I'm using blue, Asia, visibility 1 to 15 only, high and a low. Okay, now the foundation over here is very simple. Whatever the previous session does, the current session needs to do the opposite, as long as delta is printed. I'll go into the whole delta stuff later on, but for the time being, focus on whatever the previous session does, the current session needs to do the opposite. Try to lay that foundation. Now, the previous session is going to print a high and a low. You want to mark whatever's printed first. In this case, the high is printed first. We need to mark that as a reference point. Okay, go over here, left toolbar, and horizontal ray, stick it over there, double click, change the settings, visibility, style, I'm keeping blue for Asia, thickness, thin, dotted lines, boom, easy, sweet and simple. This high is the reference point for London to run into. We're going on a session to session basis. Why? Because in real life, you've got night shift, you've got morning shift, and you've got evening shift. In the markets, you've got Asia, London, and New York. Does that make sense? You can see Asia short, Asia down. Okay, I will go into session inventory and how to read unresolved inventory left behind by Asia, and as to how the current session, which is London, will be resolving that or passing over to the next session to resolve that. So then it becomes a multi-session swing, and so on and so forth. Okay. Asia high, Asia low, reference point marked out. Same thing for New York. New York high sits over here using light gray. New York low sits over here. What was printed first? The low was printed first, so let's mark the low out. So now we've got a multi-session sort of play over here. We've got New York up, Asia down. Asia failed to clean up New York's low. Unresolved inventory. Does that make sense? Yeah? By just reading, now we have a story to read. Okay? New York and Asia inverse, Asia and London inverse. Now look, London may fail to push higher. Why? Because it's got a lot of weight to carry. Okay? Let me turn this down. London is carrying previous session's weight, which is short inventory. Okay? And then London also needs to set itself up for, it could be London and New York, or it could be London and New York, and you can see how all of that will play. It's called a multi-session chain. Okay, this is the approach that you need to start having on a daily basis, and only then you can move forward to the next stage. That's it. Keep it sweet and simple. Don't overcomplicate anything else. Now, do you see how we have a narrative? We have a story to look at. We have a story to actually understand. Hey, look, we've got New York long inventory, New York up. Okay, Asia down. All right, cool. Now here, what we can do is we can use the fib from Asia low to Asia high. Reaction level sits at 1.18, 1.27. Does that make sense? We can actually have buy limits, over here, and target the 50 level, or even Asia high. Keep stops, over here. 50 pips risk, reward is 150 pips. Let's move on to what's it called? Session carry. Okay, I hope this makes sense, and yeah, drop me some feedback if you feel like this is helping you in any shape or form or way. I want you to start piecing the puzzle. Previous recording was based off the Fibonacci from low to the high, 1.18 and 1.27. Now I'm going to show you how to actually read the overall story step by step. I'm not going to skip any step over here. The reason why I wanted to go over the fib in the first recording, so that you understand why price is running into 1.18, it's because of this multi-session carry. Asia failed. There's a gap here. That gap's going to be used to run into the 1.18 and the 1.27. So when the majority of the people, try to panic sell, it will be too late, because there's going to be buyers obviously waiting over here to counter attack and take their liquidity. Okay, basics 101. This is just 1% of what I need to really show. I need you all to understand this session story sort of mechanics. Let's move on. I'm going to try to keep all of the recordings below 10 minutes so that you can digest it, look at it, go over it, and then move on.